Jesus warns us that one of the most dangerous places you can be as a Christian is thinking you're saved when in reality you aren't. And I need you to hear this because the longer you confuse Christian activity with a real relationship with Christ, the longer you'll be deceived into thinking you're okay. And at the end, I'll give you 3 things you can do to make sure you're not just keeping yourself busy, but actually being a follower of Jesus. Matthew chapter 7 verse 21 tells us that not everyone who calls Jesus Lord will enter into the kingdom of heaven. And then Jesus says there will be people who come up to him and say, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not cast out demons in your name? And he will look at them and say, depart from me, I never knew you. You did all these things, but you never knew who Christ was. What he's telling us here is activity does not equal intimacy. You have to understand that calling Jesus Lord is verbal faith, and there's nothing wrong with that, but on top of that, you have to actually live out your faith. And the difference between the two shows up behind closed doors when nobody's watching. And then when you begin to know Jesus even more and you start building that relationship, it's going to show up in how you handle yourself and the decisions you make and your obedience to God. Now, this is not about earning your salvation. Salvation is a free gift that comes through faith in Christ alone. But those who are truly born again will have that salvation come from a genuine place. And that's going to be reflected in how they live with real surrender and with real fruit. So the question isn't, am I working hard enough as a Christian? The question is, does my life show that I'm letting Christ work through me? So here are 3 things you can do today to move from performing Christianity to actually pursuing a relationship with Jesus. The first thing you got to do is to pursue intimacy over activity. Stop measuring your faith by how much you do for God and start measuring it by how close you are to him. You have to spend time with him in private daily, just you and Jesus with nothing else to prove. The second thing is to examine your obedience. Think about the areas of your life where you know God is telling you to do something and you're saying no. Your obedience is the truest measure whether or not Jesus is actually Lord over your life or it's just a label that you carry. So whatever the Spirit has been nudging you to do, stop saying no and take that step of obedience. The final thing is to let your life do the talking. Jesus said you will know them by their fruit, not their public prayers and not what they post online. So ask yourself, if someone were to follow you around for a week, or if Jesus was standing next to you for a week, would he be able to recognize your actions as his own? If the answer is no, that's not condemnation. That's conviction to start pursuing a real relationship.